Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
We are going to start a very special conversation here today with the chairman of one of India's largest conglomerates, Tata Sons. N. Chandrasekaran, it's a pleasure to have you here at the Mint Asia HT Leadership Summit. It's been quite a year, if I may say, for you, Chandra, as you take over as chairman of Tata Sons. I know that we've spoken in the past about your vision for the group, and last year has really been a year of cleanup. It's been a year of finding synergies. It's been a year of simplification. And you told me at the start of this year that this year is all about being the year of restructuring as far as the Tata Group is concerned. You've got over 100 operating companies today, some of which you would ideally like to rationalize. You've still got a fairly complicated group structure, which you would like to simplify even further. At the start of 2018, and as we look at a new financial year, what is the vision that you have for the group?
That's a big question. I think if you look at the group, the biggest strength we have is the brand that we have. And we are present in, yes, 100-odd companies. But primarily, they follow a pattern. If you really look at all the companies, you can classify them into, at least I have put them into 8 different industries. Mm-hmm. And there are 3 big companies who form their own vertical, if you may. Tata Steel, Tata Motors, and TCS. But if you take the remaining companies, they fall into financial services and a lot of businesses around infrastructure, and business around consumer and retail, mm-hmm. and business around tourism. So we're trying to see how we can bring all these companies together and drive A, simplification, B, synergy, and then scale.
You know, simplification, synergy, and scale, you just articulated for us broadly the buckets that you envisage the group taking forward. You've already started the process of bringing together the disparate or different entities within a similar vertical. You've started that with the defense business, and you're putting some of those pieces together. How soon can we expect you to move on the other pieces and create these vertical clusters, so to speak?
I think we are... We are moving on each one of these verticals as we speak. But it's just that in some verticals it's going to be easy because all the companies are probably unlisted. In some verticals it's going to be a little bit difficult because there's going to be listed companies, unlisted companies. So the way to look at it is overall I think roughly there are about 32 companies which will be the holding companies. Mm-hmm. And we've got to see how we can either consolidate or synergize between these companies. And so the process is on. It's not that we are moving one after another. We're working on all dimensions.
Okay, so you're moving parallelly across all of these, and you're looking at 32 holding companies. If I may talk to you about some of the new opportunities that have opened up, especially the new opportunities that open up in a space that the Tatas have traditionally been operating in and continue to operate in. And I'll start by asking you about Air India. The government has put out the information memorandum for public consumption. The question is, will you consider bidding for Air India or not?
I think you've tried this on multiple times.
I'll try one more time, sir.
See, there is a deadline which extends till, I think, middle of May.
14th of May.
So wouldn't we leave it at that?
So let me ask you this, because the deadline for sending in queries to the government expires on the 16th of April. So have you sent in your queries to the government on Air India?
I think I don't want to answer this in the media.
Let me rephrase my question. Whether you choose to bid or not is a different story altogether. But given the fact that you already have 2 aviation companies in India, Tata Vistara and of course AirAsia India, would it be of interest to consider another airline foray? It's a low multiple business. Do you really want to continue to be in another low multiple business?
I think you're giving a lot of answers to me.
Do I make sense?
You make a lot of sense.
I make a lot of sense. So that, does that mean that a low multiple business may not necessarily be of interest at this point?
The issue is not whether it's a low multiple business or a high multiple business. Yes, the fact is, yes, we are already in two different airlines. And whether this adding one more airline, however attractive or unattractive or complicated it may be, it's a question that we need to think through, and there are many factors to consider, but all your questions are valid.
Okay, all my questions are valid. I think that is the most I will get out of you as far as Air India is concerned. So let me talk to you about another issue that I know that that you're focused on, and that is cleaning up balance sheets across companies and across the group. How confident do you feel that the balance sheet repair process that you've started will be completed in this financial year, and you are going to move towards stronger cash flows next year?
I think we are well on our way. If you really look at it, the biggest one was Tata Teleservices. That's we are going through that process, and that transaction has to conclude. Then that will be done, hopefully, this year. Then we have looked at Tata Steel, and Tata Steel, we have found a solution in the form of a joint venture in Europe. Mm-hmm. Again, that's in the works. That transaction has to conclude. And once that is done, some part of the debt will go away as part of the joint venture. Then we are focused on expanding Tata Steel. We have already said that we want to double our capacity in India. Mm-hmm. So we have made a number of moves, and you know everything. It's all in the media. Then there is some issues with Tata Motors. That company is going about it. Tata Power is also addressing it. I think I must say that we must be significantly better by the end of this year.
Significantly better by the end of this year. I'll individually pick up on each of those points. And let me start by asking you about Tata Steel, and two specific questions there on Tata Steel, because yesterday we heard from ThyssenKrupp saying that they feel confident of being able to conclude the process of putting that joint venture together, perhaps in the first half of the year. The due diligence process is also moving forward. So A, things on track as far as the ThyssenKrupp joint venture is concerned, and B, the India opportunity for steel. You've looked at stressed assets. Bhushan Steel is one of the companies that Tata Steel has decided to pick up, and now you've got a battle in the steel business on between ArcelorMittal, JSW, and even somebody like Vedanta. So, how is the steel business looking like in India today?
So I think on the ThyssenKrupp joint venture, we are progressing it. We are on track, I would say. But nevertheless, there is a process you have to go through, and a number of steps in this whole thing. So we are pretty confident that we will conclude it as per our timelines. Mm-hmm. Second, as part of the India steel business, it's a very attractive market. I think we have huge expansion opportunities in India because the overall capacity is around 75 million tons or whatever. I think it can really double and triple in India, given India's needs. Mm-hmm. We have taken a call that we will do an organic expansion at our plant in Kalinganagar of 5 million tons, and then a couple of assets we have gone for. So with that, our doubling the capacity plan will be on track if you're able to conclude all these transactions successfully. With regard to competition, I think you need to do another interview, I think.
Why another interview? I can get one comment in about the competitive landscape and the bitter battle that we're seeing play out in India.
I think see, these are all new capacity. These are all not new capacities. These are existing capacities.
Yes.
So whoever wins doesn't matter. It is the same capacity.
Why did you not show any interest in SR Steel?
No, I think we have our hands full with, if we do these transactions that I have talked about, our hands will be full for the time being. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that we can, it's not only a financial thing, also in terms of execution, etc., our hands will be full.
Okay. the other two businesses that you that continue to drive the growth for the group, Tata Motors and TCS. Let me start by asking you about TCS, because that is a company that you've lived and breathed while you've been at the Tatas. Enjoying the fact that you don't have to sort of deliver on the quarterly numbers quarter after quarter. In fact, you would have been doing your boardroom today or tomorrow if you were still at TCS. Enjoying the fact that you don't have that quarterly pressure. And B, what is the external environment looking like today as far as Indian IT is concerned? The world reacts to every tweet that comes in from President Trump, and that is proving to be a bit of a constraint and a challenge, not just for Indian IT companies, but for the entire process of globalization. So what is the outlook for Indian IT?
I think on the first question, I've enjoyed my job every single day for the last 30 years. So I enjoyed TCS, I'm enjoying my current job. So it's not a question of missing that or missing this. I think there is enough fun in doing this job, as much as I had fun at TCS. With regard to IT industry, I have said that it's a great industry. It's going to be seeing enormous growth. I feel that the TCS definitely I can talk for. All the investments have been done in terms of how to operate in the new world, which is dominated by AI, analytics, machine learning, deep learning, IoT, whatever you want to call it. That throws up enormous opportunities because every company has to reinvent itself. And you can see the order book that TCS has clocked in the recent months. So I believe that the Indian industry growth story will continue.
You believe that the Indian growth story will continue for the IT sector?
I think the regulatory changes will happen all the time. That's fine. That's a cost of doing business. So every market in which you operate is facing challenges. Okay, they have their own. You call it joblessness, or you call it automation, you call it whatever.
No, I understand.
So those things will.
No, I understand that you're going to have.
It's not been new.
It's not new, and you will have to sort of keep pace with the changes in the regulatory environment. But what do you see as fundamentally changing or shifting for the Indian IT services model? I mean, offshore, nearshore, all of that is now factored in. How you deal with and cope with the visa restrictions, etc. But as we move forward, the era of 20% plus kind of margins which we've gotten used to for the Indian IT sector, do you believe that is likely to continue? What is the outlook from a business model perspective, and what is the big shift that you see now?
See, I have said this and many times, different contexts I have said this. I think this business has enormous potential, and there is more software in everything. There is more software in financial services. There's more software in automobile. There is more software in manufacturing. There is more software in what have you. So the question of having a demand problem just simply doesn't exist. Okay? And the extent of automation that you will see is very high, but that will also throw up a lot more opportunities. Every business is becoming real time, and every business is becoming more insights driven. Given all this, maintaining margins and growing at a good clip is something that this industry can do.
Let me end on technology and ask you whether you believe that inorganic opportunities, and we've seen some, not large ones, but we've seen some go through. Inorganic opportunities internationally is something that Indian IT will have to continue to consider. And what about domestically? I mean, there's been a lot of talk around mid-sized consolidation, but what about large-scale consolidation? I mean, can we imagine a future where possibly the likes of a TCS, Infosys, Wipro, there could perhaps be some consolidation of that order? Would that be unimaginable, or is that still a possibility in the future?
Shereen, you want to become a banker?
I'm only asking the questions.
No, I think these are very hypothetical questions because, services businesses, large-scale consolidations are very far and few. So if you look at the history, I think there have been very, very, very few successful large-scale consolidations. Very few have been attempted. So because services, nature of the business is like that. So it's this is a very I don't know what you dreamt last night. So this
No, unlikely to happen. But international acquisitions?
no, I don't know. I think each company has to
Evaluate the opportunities.
But in TCS we have been focused on organic growth by and large. We have done some acquisitions every now and then for a market entry or for a domain capability. For example, Japan, we did one because we couldn't have otherwise penetrated the market. We did one in France. So we will do things like that. Generally, that's what we have done. We have really not looked at inorganic as a means of growth because there's a lot of organic growth opportunity.
Let me ask you about the opportunity that India presents in the tech space. I mean, you've been involved with the passport program in India, and the view is that while there is a market, it may not necessarily be a very lucrative market. As the government moves towards more e-governance, there is this, controversy over Aadhaar and seeding Aadhaar and linking it to practically every service. What is the tech opportunity for somebody like you in India today?
See, India has opportunity, period. It's not only tech. India has opportunity in everything that you can think of. So you can't really capture all the opportunities in India because every sector has to grow significantly. Whether you're talking about tech as a space, when you look at tech as a space, you should not only talk about SI projects or projects like Aadhaar, projects like Passport. Tech will have an influence on every sector, from healthcare to, all our healthcare problems, education problems, or infrastructure. Every one of these segments will have to be solved by tech. So tech will have a huge opportunity, but whether you see it as a tech opportunity or a healthcare opportunity is up to you to decide. But India is all about, India's problem is about solving access. So if you see, our problem is, if I can articulate it, we have a unique problem that no other country has. Many other countries say that they have a job problem. India has both a job problem and a fulfillment problem of the demand. See, anything you talk about, whether it's the number of doctors, number of teachers, number of judges, we have a huge shortfall. I think the numbers run into millions. Okay, and at the same time, we have a million people coming into the workforce every month. Okay, the problem we have is, on the one hand, we have to solve the job problem for the people coming into the market. On the other hand, we have to solve the demand problem. And we are not able to do that because the skills that are required, we don't have the time to do that. So how do you demystify the jobs that these people do so that we can use the skills that the people coming into the workforce have, coupled with technology? So we have a unique problem. We have a problem and we have a solution, but we have got to make both of them meet.
Various opportunities that you've spoken about, given the fact that you want to rationalize and prune the portfolio. There are some businesses in the 100-odd operating companies that the group currently has, which may not be businesses for the future, which may not be businesses that you want to continue to bet on. Which are the businesses or the sectors that you would like to bet on to make yourselves future ready and future proof?
See, I think there are a number of areas we need to focus on. I can't be very definitive today, but I can give you indications. Our businesses have to focus on a lot of digital in the future. It will work in two ways. One is the existing businesses, how they should transform themselves to operate in the digital world. For example, what does digital mean to a steel company? Okay, what does digital mean to a power company? What does it mean to commercial vehicles vis-a-vis passenger cars? So that's one plank. The second one is, what are the digital platforms we can want? Digital provides so many opportunities. You can think of lots and lots of platforms, but we've got to choose which are the platforms in which we can scale, we can address the needs of billion people. And we have got to bet on those platforms. We will be doing that. We're looking into that space. The third one, to me, is a big trend is towards sustainability. World has to move towards sustainable businesses, which essentially means that how much of growth capital that we allocate towards those kind of businesses. For example, this whole EV ecosystem. I'm not calling electric vehicle, I'm calling it the ecosystem, because to me, that whole ecosystem not only involves vehicles and batteries, but also includes smart cities and so many things it includes. Yeah. So that's a business that has huge potential across the globe, but definitely in India. But these things will take time, because on the one hand, you got to invest and build the capability, and then on the other hand, you have to work with cities or governments and policies and so on and so forth. So you've got to make the right investments in a calibrated way, but these are areas we'll definitely focus. And another area which I don't know whether we will get in directly, but the point is that healthcare in India will require a lot of intervention, and most of the intervention will be digital.
You know, the job of a CEO is also to learn the art of sacrifice, and I think that's what you're doing currently. You're trying to look at businesses that perhaps have lost their utility and lost their value, and you're hoping to exit that. What is the hardest part of being able to go through that process? What is the biggest challenge that you find yourself faced with as you go through this process?
See, first of all, you need to do it based on data, not by noise. The problem is in India, there's a lot of noise. Okay, and if you're not careful, the noise level is so high. Then people will tell you sell this, sell that, sell this, sell that, and there can be 10 analyst reports, 10 people giving in the media. So you have to be careful. So you have to separate the noise, and you've got to choose the business you want to exit, because A, it's not financially viable, B, you cannot scale, C, genuinely, it is better in the hands of somebody else. As long as you have that conviction it is better in the hands of somebody else and communicate that, it becomes an easier value proposition.
Is your list ready?
I think you got enough for this interview.
No. I'm not going to give up so easily. Is your list ready, sir?
No, I think it is an ongoing process. It's not a one-time thing. I think in general our philosophy has been to make things work, and I think as long as we can produce the returns and we can transform these businesses to the new world and scale, we will be in those businesses. We've exited a couple of small businesses, and as we go along, and when we find that something else has to go, then we'll go through the same process. Okay.
This structure where the Tata Trusts control Tata Sons then controls subsidiary companies like TCS and so on and so forth. Do you believe that this operating structure is a structure that can continue in the future?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You don't believe that there is a need to review this, there is a need to tweak this?
See, anything can happen, because tomorrow you feel that changing this, making an additional tweak, if it is helpful, you will always consider. But I don't see any problem with this structure. There is Tata Trust is a shareholder of Tata Sons, and Tata Sons runs all these operating companies. And we can build new companies, we can work with existing companies. Tomorrow, if you want to create a private equity, you can create a private equity. There's enough flexibility. You can do what you want to do, as long as you follow the process and I don't see a problem with that.
Last question before we wrap up. What's the blueprint that you've set for yourself? I know that you are very data oriented. So what are the 3 things that you've kept on your dashboard?
There is no such blueprint that I'm going to announce here. The only blueprint is that I think just keep the momentum. And there is a lot to do. There's a big opportunity in India. I think it's going to be the fastest growing country for a long period to come. Everything about India is positive. The growth rates will be 7, 8. It can go higher. The demography is positive, and the consumption spend is positive. I think we're going to have the best middle income group. There is so much opportunity. We need to make choices. We can't be playing in every sector because there is opportunity across the board in B2B, B2C, infrastructure, digital. So we want to make the right bets and then scale those businesses.
Well, we wish you the very best of luck. Thank you very much, Mr. Chandrasekaran, for joining us here.